We'll go on to the top two. MK.
Wow, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. Take your time.
I'm new to this whole scene. Like really, really new. Um, I, I'm an autistic person,
Hmm.
um, who is a religious trauma survivor, and I'm pretty new to non-dual practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have a friend who is one of your followers, Angelo.
Hmm.
And um, he introduced me to the notion of ego dissolution a few
Hmm.
months ago. And I really liked the sound of it. As soon as he shared that concept with me, I said, "Sign me up." That
Hmm.
sounds amazing. Um, I've had really bad experiences with ego from the literalist, dogmatic, authoritarian sect that I was
Yeah.
raised in, what sociologists might call a spoiled identity.
Mm.
So for me, ego has been like really painful. And there's part of me that wants to just get rid of it, shuck it off,
Hmm.
because that's pain. Um, and I've read portions of your book, Angelo, the book called Awake. Now it's your
Hmm.
turn. And kind of modeling the behavior of my friend, I've been pursuing awakening. Like, I didn't even know about that,
Hmm.
like, until a few months ago. It's like my friend who I admire, I'm sort of copying him because he's doing that. Um, and I started practicing non-dual meditation in July of 2024.
Hmm.
So it's like a few months ago. Um, but I think I probably need your help or the help of some expert.
Hmm.
Um, Something happened this past Sunday night and this past Monday morning, so just like a few days ago. Um, I don't, I'm not an expert, but I think I might be experiencing some form of the beginnings of ego dissolution. Um, so Sunday night, overnight, I had a sensation that I had had once before, back around April of this year,
Hmm.
after I had some extended conversations with my friend, he is highly articulate,
Hmm.
like his speech was like just a bunch of pointers that sort of put me on the moon from time to time. And back in April of this year, he was writing me these long, compassionate emails and attuning to my needs and explaining all these non-dual ideas. And I had some tripped out experiences overnight that were kind of like night terrors and this feeling, sort of a sensation similar to like numbness in my brain, accompanied by some strong visual imagery of portions of my brain dissolving away and there being only like a stump or a nub left behind. And that
Hmm.
was kind of scary because I wondered, like, am I going crazy? Um, and that was back in April. And then Sunday night of this week, I had that same sort of combo of that numb, brain dissolving sensation along with the visual imagery. And then when I woke up the next day, um, I continued what I've been doing the past several weeks, which is reading this gripping, compelling book by a analytic idealist philosopher. It's a form of non-dualism. It's like a hardcore monistic um, worldview that's very new to me, but I'm really into it. So I was reading that book, and then this sentence triggered something in my brain.
Mm.
And what got triggered in my brain, I'm very sensitive. Like I can read a single sentence in a book and be like on the floor having some tripped out, indescribable experience. Um, but reading this particular sentence in this book, it contained the word object. And what my brain did with this was told me, do not seek for objects as there are no objects to be found. Holy crap. Um, that rapidly led to, wait, that means I am not an object, not an object of revulsion or love, either one, which would mean there's no way I can be special. Wait, oh no, it's deeper than that. Maybe I don't even exist. Do I exist even? How would I? I probably don't even exist. And then this is all happening like super. I'm in the bathroom at a hotel. This is 2 hours before I'm supposed to drive over to see my Christian family, and I'm a
Mm.
Jew.
Mhm.
Holy crap. And it then felt as if someone or a part of me inside me um, was dying.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm still having that um, that sensation,
Mhm.
but it comes in waves. It's not like all the time, and I'm basically functional.
Mhm.
And some of the time I'm feeling like happy and proud, like, hey, maybe this is like, way I'm progressing toward
Mhm.
awakening. Um, yay, good job, MK. Um, so, but then I noticed this other sensation, and this was like super obvious. The second that the part of me is dying sensation kicked off, I noticed that I was plunged um, into a deep grief, like deep,
Mhm.
like like I could barely catch my breath. I can't stop sobbing, and I'm trying to catch my breath so that I can explain to my spouse that he does not need to call 911, that I am okay, that I am super, super alive. Like I am right here.
Mhm.
And I am, it's, it's not grief exactly. It's something I don't have words for it. Um, and I've had it before when I have lost a loved one. For me, grief is like making a trip to a luxury resort.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a vacation of the
Yep.
most profound sort from gnawing anxiety and dread. It
Yeah.
clears I know it doesn't maybe seem like it, but I'm actually um in a good place, I
Mhm.
think, even if I need some professional help from you and Josh. But here's my question. I've read some things that my kind, knowledgeable friend sent me. Um, and it seems like there are ways that a person might unwittingly fall into making mistakes at this juncture, like that a person needs to be prudent and listen to what experts have to say, like non-dual teachers who are experienced with these things. And so I'm hoping you can, if you might be willing to weigh in and convey to me what you think the most important things are for me to do at this point, as well as provide me some gentle, please try to be gentle. I'm very sensitive. Um, if you can gently, um, in a way that won't uh, uh, leave me feeling too freaked out, let me know if there are some important things you think I should avoid.
Okay.
There's my question.
Thank you.
That's my
Thank you for
question.
sharing all that. Josh, would you like to start or would you like me to start?
Well, I could just give you an anecdote. There was a period of time where this was definitely unfolding in this experience, my experience. And I was texting Angelo. That was my entire relationship with him at the time. And I kept saying, Angelo, I think I'm losing my fucking mind. And he said, You're okay. Just keep going. And that's all I needed. Just a little nudgy nudge.
That's essentially what I was going to say to you. Yeah, I'll be gentle because I don't need to be not gentle with you. You're very sensitive, and this is a steep path for you. Um, those things are obvious to me without you saying it. Also, you're comfortable with shadow work. Obviously, you're willing to you know grief well, and you're willing to feel it fully and surrender to it. Also, very good insight that often anxiety is hiding something, and it's often grief. Anxiety is actually just an unwillingness to feel grief a lot of the time. And you're clear on all that. You're willing to drop into that, and you're willing to drop into fear and these like wild and wacky psychedelic experiences. Just so you know, none of those extreme experiences are what awakening is. They are signs of massive transformation. If you think of the magician archetype, the gateway emotion to the magician archetype is fear, and that's massive change, massive transformation. So it's very common to go through a fear barrier when you really start to like let go of the identity structure, or the identity structure starts to fall away, or however you want to say that. So you've gone through some very intense experiences. You've also gone through some very clear emotional experiences, and you seem pretty intuitively clear in this space to me. I know this is all doesn't feel like it to you, doesn't feel linear or anything like that. But you're in a good place. Like you're doing fine. And so I'm basically going to say what Josh said, I said to him, and that is, I would tell you if I thought you were way off, if I thought you were bypassing, I would somehow tell you. I may not say that directly, but, I tend to feel where the fixations are in people and try to help them pull the rug a little bit or point it out. With you, I feel like you have a good intuition about how fast to take this. You're going quickly anyway. I think you have a knack for it, and it's going to continue to unfold. Honestly, you don't need my guardrails. Trust yourself. The biggest mistake people probably make is starting to bypass, and you're not bypassing. You're feeling all this emotion. You're clear on what you're feeling. You're clear on that you're okay feeling it. You know, you want to tell your husband you didn't have to call the paramedics and so forth. So I think you have good judgment. You have a good centeredness around all of this, but you're also willing to let go. You're feeling everything you need to feel. It sounds like it's unfolding pretty naturally.
Yeah. The one caveat, tiny caveat, just the only thing to watch out for is displacing your own intuition for someone else's advice. You clearly already know what needs to be known here. So you might get there might be a lot of subtle influences that can show up, but you already know. It's a type of trust that's really obvious.
Yeah.
We could say something like, what does the flower feel when they bloom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can trust this process. The mind sometimes gets hung up on this because it's like, well, I've never heard of this. It just came out of nowhere. And this is crazy. All this stuff's happening and things are changing so much. And I didn't even know about this 8 months ago or whatever. Like that's the mind's version of this. It's just too much for the mind in a way, like the way our thoughts try to put it all together. But the intuition is your resonance with the Dharma. It is your resonance with this vehicle that is extremely powerful and extremely intelligent. It has a wisdom to it. Everyone here Josh knows this. All these people who have woken up who are on this call, they all know this because we've been through it. And the deeper it goes, the more clear you get in alignment with that. Call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it the Dharma vehicle, or I'm going to call it, intuition in alignment with the sort of universal urge to awaken, whatever. You can trust that. And you're doing great.
Yeah. And if a question ever comes up around, well, how do I know if I can trust it? It's here. If it's here, that's it.
Does that resonate, MK?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And I really I appreciate both of your all's responses. I think it was a really good call on Josh's part to put a finger on the watch out for the subtle influences of others and displacing my own intuitions with theirs. Because for me, part of growing up in an authoritarian sect, the lynch, sort of part of the epicenter of my pain has been having been on the receiving end of these messages of terror and shame about submitting to some external authority. And that runs really deep. So a big, big theme in my life in the past 2, 3, 4 years has been trying to do this very scary, very uncomfortable thing that my family reviles and tells me I'm an abomination for doing, and that is trying to see if I can trust myself through like living my life and noticing what happens and just continuing to ask myself questions and feel my way along. Um, and just let them, let them say I'm an abomination. Let them say I'm demon possessed. And let every belief I've ever clung to, let it fail me. Because all my beliefs from those times have failed me, and I'm still here. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you, both of you, for giving me some reassurance. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Stay in touch. Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All righty. Let's see here. We're going to go to Debbie Miller.
Hiya.
Hey, Debbie, it's been a little while.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say my name. The only sensation just suddenly went just before you said it. And I don't know why I put my hand up, but I've got my heart's racing now. Got really strong burning sensation in my chest. Shame's been a big thing for a little while now, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay. And I feel that I don't feel like, well, I don't know that I've been holding, but I feel that I don't actively try to engage certain things. Because I feel that I've just kind of been happy to let things roll along as they have without my, I don't know, what other people do to practice or whatever. I think there was fear for a while, a lot of fear about like the visual field, particularly. So the sensation, sound, senses mix and are really kind of close. But it was, I've never wanted to engage with any of the kind of practices for the visual field. I think there was a lot of fear for a while, and I think I felt like there was more stuff to be addressed trauma wise. That was perhaps just, there wasn't a sense I wanted to chase it. It wasn't so much that if it happened, just that I didn't want to push. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I don't even know why I'm trying to get a view, because I seem to have gone to everybody and I can't really see you. There you are. So I don't really know why I'm saying that, whether it's just to get a sense, if there's anything either of you have to say to me, really, because I don't feel like I've got a specific question.
What is the fear about?
Well, that's not very present now, but I think I suppose and I am remembering this because it's not here right now, but it was the sense, because I do have visual changes, but they come and go and they've never been stable. So I suppose it's kind of maybe around the idea that everything will just fall apart, all the kind of things that maybe I'm hanging on to, the idea of a solid world.
Yeah.
Even though I'm really familiar with it not being, like the shimmering and the movement and there's so much that happens quite frequently with the visual field. But I would say it's probably that kind of last bit of holding on.
Yeah. The only thing that's coming to me is it is common that there's this fear associated with that, the realization of formlessness, because when the illusion of an external world is no longer there, the next thing that goes is the internal world. And so it's like the sense that I'm going to lose that place I go to for respite, for escape, for dissociation, the place I go. And this isn't a literal thought. This is like kind of subverbal, but we know, like some part of us knows that we can use this inner world to like dissociate and escape and seemingly pull back from the world. But when you see there's no world to pull back from, it's like, where are you going to pull back to? So then some part of you knows like, oh, it's on, like it's on then, meaning you're not getting away from anything. You have to feel it all. As simple as that might sound, that's what the fear is, typically, from what I see usually. And it turns out to be okay. You can handle it. Like I was talking to maybe the first caller today or whatever. You have the capacity, but it's an adjustment because we are used to using our mind without noticing we're doing it, using thought, daydreaming, dissociating, distraction. We're used to using that to hide from that last little bit of hiding, trauma or pain or fear or whatever. Or it could just be a habit actually, so it's not uncommon to experience what you've described. And it's also not a huge problem either, but seeing the mechanism can be helpful. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would encourage you to continue stirring. It's like we could just imagine in this cosmic soup that it's like this big pot of cold soup that we're heating up. And if we don't stir it, we have these little pockets that seem to go dormant. And so whatever that very line of, if you want to call it fear or whatever it is, whatever seems to bring that about, I would continue toggling and exploring in that area. Because it usually means that there's a density of something that has something to reveal, I guess we could say. And so you could take kind of like, if you're willing to play a game, just do it like a 3-part process. Where do you feel the fear? Then like the location, what's the acute sensational experience of that? Like the granular pieces of it. And then the third piece is invite it to reach its maximum expression. Because whatever it is in that feeling is your indication. It's not really an object. It's more of an indication of something, kind of like a signpost, its own finger pointing somewhere. And so whatever stirs that, even if it seems like there's a little bit of doership involved in this, highly recommended that you explore that because that's the juice. Stir a little bit.
Mm.
Thank you, Debbie.
Nice to see you both.
Nice to see you. Okie dokie. Let's go down to Sarah.
Oh, haven't asked a question in a while, and feeling really nervous. But so a few nights ago, I took like a small amount of psychedelics, and with my husband, it was on Christmas, and the kids had gone to bed, and had this. I guess for a couple of years, there's been the back of my mind of the idea of the fear barrier that I've heard you talk about a lot. And I hit it, or I encountered it in a really deep way. And I'm shaking right now as I think about it because I felt like I was dying. And my husband was in the shower and I went and got him. And I was like, I feel like I need to go to the hospital, but I know that I don't because I just know what this is. And I asked him to hold me, and he kind of held me as I moved through waves of it. And I have a history of addiction, so I haven't drank alcohol in a long time. But for whatever reason, since I started the awakening journey, pot use has picked up a lot, and I don't know why. And so I've had a lot of shame around that I've had to just be with. And what I've been trying to do, I mean, my brain wants to be like, okay, I need to stop doing this, but there's been sort of just to trying to be with the sensations, like that being not separate from this journey, and being with the shame that comes up with it, and just allowing what happens. And so when I was like in this like intense fear, it was like, okay, like if I can get through this, then I promise never to like do any substance ever again. Was like the what the brain was saying. And since I had that experience, I haven't had a desire to use anything and or escape. And I felt pretty clear. But there's this fear of like if I were to like smoke pot or whatever it is, that like, oh God, that's gonna like jinx this whole thing or whatever, which I know is just the thought. And I know that like just need to go to like, okay, there's the thought, like go to the sensation, and be with like what that kind of stirs up. But I know like I feel like I have a decent practice of like following the thought to like but that fear is still there of like the what if. Um so I wanted to share that, and I wanted to see what guidance you had, but I also wanted to like just like throw in the pot because I think a lot of people kind of struggle with like substance or escape or whatever their thing is. And so I just kind of wanted to share that, and that it might resonate for somebody else. So just curious what
Yeah.
you have. Also just like what now?
Yeah. Josh,
What
did you
now?
want to say something first, or you want me to, or?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sarah, can you say hi real quick so I can see your face?
Hi. Hi.
Okay. Do you want to go into the fear a little bit and see what's there?
Sure.
Okay. So, what is it that you're really afraid of? What's underneath that fear? Just feel it. Just feel it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Yep. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Fucking up for my kids. Not being a good mom to my kids. That's the fear.
There you go. There you go. Yep. Feel it. Yep. You're a mom. You're not a perfect mom. You
But
can't
I
do it
want to
perfectly.
be. I want to.
I know. I know you want to be. but you can't be perfect. It's impossible, right? But feel that. Feel how frustrating it is that you can't be perfect. Feel it for a minute. Feel that frustration. Feel the discord. I want to be perfect and I know I can't. I know you care. Of course you care. That's not what we're talking about. I already know you're a good mom. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So where did that fear come from?
What the fear of not being a good
where did
mom.
the fear come from that I may not be a good parent, or whatever, however that is?
I don't know. I don't know.
If you ask the question where it came from, can you find it in your body? Just track it into your body. Okay, feel it. Stay with that sensation. Good. Stay there. Just feel it. It's pure sensation now. There's no story there. Stay with it. Just curiosity about what's there. Yep. You have the capacity. You're already there. You're doing great. Right there with it. Yep. Staying in the sensation. Just notice the quality, the feel of feeling this aliveness, where it is. Right there under your hand. It's a sensation. It's been there a long time. It was there 10 years ago. It was there when you were a child. There you go. Stay with it. Yep. Feel it just like it is. Let it be exactly what it is. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to know what to do here. Just feel it. The little one didn't know what to do. She can just feel it. Feel it with her. You're doing awesome. Yeah, feel that peace. Calmness. It's the same sensation. Nothing's changed. Just the interpretation. And all you did was stay with it. That's capacity. That's what capacity is. Stay with, and I won't talk to you for 20 minutes doing this, but you can stay with this as you listen to the rest of this. Stay down there. The longer you stay there, the more this transformation propagates. It'll change. It's the bottom-up transformation. You're not going to be able to put it together with your mind right now. Can't plan around what you just learned or anything. Just stay with the sensation. It will take care of everything in a way that will surprise you.
Yeah, and Sarah, if you want to keep teasing this line of feeling, really, really ask yourself if you can let your children go. And sit with that. Because there's a trick being pulled on you. In the deepest parts of shadow work here, the question was, can the abandoned be the abandoner? And it was really not really about letting them go. It was letting something else go. Can you let them go? Can you let them go?
Yeah.
And just let it dig right on that line. Keep talking, you might correct this way and move this way. Just stay right on that line.
Yeah. Okay.
The more you let go of your idea and your attachment and all of that, the more present you'll be with them, for sure.
Okay.
It's good stuff, Sarah.
Yeah.
Nice work, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, stay with that. You're awesome. Okay. We're going to go to Francesco or Francesco. Sorry, Francesco. I'm getting to you here. There we go.
Okay. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Josh. So, I wanted to explore with you a dynamic that I feel I've been having since, well, a lot of time, but coming along from vacation with relatives, Christmas, I think brings it up. And it's about the fact that when speaking with lots of people, co-workers, or even family, it happens a lot. Forced complicity. Like, I feel that there is a narration of stuff. I'm put on the spot, and it's like there's a role for I've been auditioned, but I didn't even apply for it, and I'm given that role. I must follow that. Say yeah, or no, and just follow the same damn script, and it feels like being a bit with the bars, a bit in a persona. And I recognize that maybe I'm doing that with you right now, guys. So I recognize a bit the meta of this, but don't know. I wanted to bring this up because I felt this since lot of time ago, and it just keeps repeating. I keep seeing it in myself, in others when interacting.
All right. Josh, what do you got to say, man?
So at the are you speaking more directly to a masking? Is that how it shows up for you?
Mm, yes, and also in which output I want to give to the person, and especially in the fact that there is also many assumptions made prior
Mm,
we what I'm speaking. Maybe the argument that is comes up, I want to speak from a different perspective, but it feels like it must follow the rails.
I see. So it's like some sort of strategizing, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
what is your relationship with control?
Control. Yeah. I I often feel I need to control how I come up to others. Yes.
What is left if you aren't in control?
In theory, spontaneity, and I really hope, but I don't know if I can really trust it, especially in some situation where I think I'm expected to play the part, puppet, a bit.
Sometimes, sometimes it can help to bring more attention into a visceral experience, for instance. So, just for this moment, can you bring attention into breathing? Just noticing the breath.
Yes.
Are you aware of the pulse of your heart? Who's in control of those things?
Nobody.
And really, there can be a huge benefit just to rest in that experience, rest in that space that really foundationally, there really is no control. And then what I would recommend is as you explore, maybe in an outward way, see if you can pay attention where there is a surge or an effort of that which wants to control. We could just call this a form of boundary exploration. What do you what do you need to, is there a forecast of getting something? Are you predicting an outcome?
Yes. Yes. I think so.
What does that look like?
Yeah. What that the other speaker wants from me, what I want from them. Yeah. All these. Yeah.
What do
But
I
right
want?
now, not right now. I feel like I can speak freely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of laughing and smiling in that regard. So there's no sense of what I might want or Angelo might want.
No, I don't give a shit. But
Nice.
I would like this to be more accessible because I don't know. I think you experienced this too, or is it just? I wanted to know from both if this is just some. How does it come to off this sharing that
I mean, I find a lot of this stuff seems to be like a force of habit. If you are willing just to observe it, watch it play itself out, you will see that it's attempting to claim some sort of purpose. It's claiming that it has a good reason for this. And I think fundamentally you'll find that it's attempting to protect something.
Yes.
That's what you really want to get in touch with. We can call that like the soft spot. What is it protecting? And now can you sit with that?
Mm-hmm. It brings warmth. Yes, I think. Thank you.
Yeah. I think, yeah, just like Josh said, I mean, you have the capacity to come forward this way in this exact moment. And the way you said it, you're like, I don't give a shit, right? You have that capacity, obviously. Maybe just a little bit more mindfulness around that, seeing that you definitely can. And noticing also, it's all about clear seeing, noticing what emotional triggers around situations that might trigger you into a more like scripted way of being, or people pleasing, or curating your image, or whatever it is. Just noticing the triggers. Like, don't beat yourself up for it. You might feel a little shame or something here and there, but don't let that cloud your willingness to see and be like, oh, okay, if I talk to this kind of person or in this situation, or the stakes seem higher because of X, Y, or Z, then all of a sudden I act scripted. Just noticing that often will change a lot, actually. So the good news is you have access to this kind of simple, vulnerable authenticity, and that's great. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
In this way also, just maybe this pointing will land for you. Risk, the sense of risk is the compass.
You mean when it comes up, like it's the signal of
well, you'll
the
notice
ring bells.
There is intuitive natural expression. I don't know how else to describe it. Something that just does something. And you'll notice when the auditor wants to come in and divert that or redirect it or shut it down. And usually the indication of that happening is a sense of risk, like a feeling like, ooh, I don't know.
Yes. Definitely gonna rewatch.
When you said I don't give a shit, that was like so pure and honest. It was my favorite.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Moral of the story, don't give a shit. All right, my friend. Good to see you.
See ya.
We're going up to Kim.
Hi, Angelo. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Hello.
I see you.
I have a question about authenticity. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question about authenticity. So the context is that things have starting like falling away in the sense that I think like non-dual is coming online, and behaviors that before, like behavior patterns that I've had for years, became like more obvious in the last few years, and then like in the last few weeks, like there's nowhere to go, like there's nowhere to hide anymore. Like it's just so the emotions coming, thoughts are coming, and like it's all there, like with the seeing, with the hearing, with the sensation of the body, like it's all like there's nowhere else like to be or to go or to hide, or and like I'm someone who freezes and disassociates, and so that's how it is now, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna change, or like it's just that's just how it is and what is. And And so um, I've had like a lot of inauthenticity in my life, like being very rigid, being someone who's frozen, who in certain situations and with certain people and certain type of personalities, like my mother was a narcissist. So I've had like a lot of phrasing around that. And I've got someone, a family member who has that type of personality. And it's a difficult relationship in my life. And so it was really interesting. Like, I saw this person for Christmas, and the kind of like the kind of thoughts, like it's this is not looking at all like how I thought it would. I thought, like the kind of thoughts and feelings that the disassociation like would stop and it would all flow, and it's not like that. Like it's more like it's actually the thoughts, like the habitual thought patterns are coming up, but the feelings that I didn't feel that much before, like they're also like coming like big time. So so I feel like there's a lot more capacity for authenticity that I didn't have before. Like before, I would just like not say what I feel, and I would just shut down basically in particular in those situations, but also in general, like I was a lot more rigid. And so now I can feel like this kind of authenticity that's coming, and that really like in a sense like I'm not in charge of. Like it's just coming up. Like, and it's a bit strange because it's new, like I'm not used to it. And also in a sense I'm a bit afraid of it because I don't know like how far it would go, and like if I'm the people pleasing and the rigidity, like to some extent I think it comes from compassion as well. It comes from like not wanting to hurt people, and I practice, and I am a Zen Buddhist practitioner. I take the compassion aspect like quite seriously. So I still have that thing, like I don't want to hurt people, like I don't want to say things that are hurtful, like it's not good, like. But at the same time, like I'm just wondering, like, how you guys, have, if you've had that experience and how you've dealt with that, like when you feel like this whole new authenticity thing is coming online, and kind of wondering, how is it going to play up, and how do you let that be, like, without hurting others, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my simple answer to you about this, I mean, I understand what you're talking about for sure, and there can be some overcorrection. If you've been a people pleaser, if you've had your boundaries crossed chronically, you may push hard all of a sudden. You may have very strong statements to people periodically that surprise you or whatever. That can happen, but it'll smooth itself out. But the simple litmus test that's pretty reasonably universal. I mean, everything has exceptions, but if you're stating your truth to somebody, your boundary, what you want, what you don't want, doesn't matter if it hurts their feelings. That's not your business. If you're stating what's true for you, it doesn't matter if that hurts somebody's feelings. It's your business. True for you, not an insult about the person or something. I'm not talking about that. But often with people pleasing, it's like the inauthenticity is when we're changing ourselves. We're curating our own self to try to mold ourselves to what won't hurt somebody's feelings or trigger somebody or anything, right? Like we try to smooth out the experience for everyone around us. It's often if we grew up in a trauma situation with, say, unpredictable parents and so forth, we become hyper vigilant to others around us. And then we always try to smooth everything out in ways that are so subtle we don't even know we're doing it often. But part of that is just being inauthentic.
Yeah, that's me.
Your own needs, your own truth, what you like, what you don't like. So just train yourself to be clear about things. If somebody says, "Oh, I love blah 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 blah," what do you think of it? Be honest. Be like, "No, I'm not. It's not my favorite. I'm not a fan of it." Instead of being like, "Oh yeah, okay," just that kind of thing. Like if you have a tendency to be inauthentic and really you're actually betraying your truth, stop doing it little by little. That's all I got.
Yeah, in the dance of deconditioning, there can be some overcorrections, but just like Angela said, it does seem to have its own intelligence. It just takes life of its own. It is inherently compassionate. If we were to really look at the nature of compassion as simply being with what is, as it is, then you don't have to monitor that so much. Whatever that management of compassion is, there's probably overcorrections taking place there and some delusion and distortion taking place there. Um, so I would ask this question. What is authenticity when there's no longer a need for self-abandonment? And you will start to see something in what people pleasing is.
What do you mean by self-abandonment, George?
Oftentimes when we people please, we're displacing something. We're actually doing it for a reason, but we might be able to disguise it as protecting them, but there's something else being protected in that. And in that displacement, we could call it a form of self-abandonment. It we feel the difference energetically in that. And so basically with what Angela was bringing up is pretty solid. Whatever is your truth is really that's where it all begins and ends. That's the buck stops there. Your truth is your truth, and that's that. And so, whatever we're doing to extend ourselves in order to modify our environment, which includes our relationships with others, there's oftentimes something being abandoned and displaced there. So, get to know that too, because it probably feels uncomfortable. You have a very distinct signal when you are self abandoning, and that's probably what prompts you to move into people pleasing. So, it might look like a little risk for you for a while, possibly a little bit of messiness around the edges. It goes this way. The dance of deconditioning can be a little bit messy, but it's worth it to explore it entirely anyway. And in the human realm, make mistakes. Because you'll find something intuitive there.
Yeah, no, there is definitely, and yeah, I've been afraid to make mistakes, yeah, for forever, always.
It's
So that
understandable.
makes sense, yeah.
It's something in that small, innocent boy, that small, innocent piece that was there that needed to protect. And so that fear of mistake led to pleasing others, the fear of conflict, these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Be willing to get a little bit messy.
Okay.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Marcus.
Thank you. I couldn't unmute for some reason.
Sorry about that. That's
Um,
probably my fault.
yeah, yeah, no problem. I will say before I go into, my real stuff that when I first logged on and could just see the little thumbnails, Josh, I thought you were like maybe wearing some kind of Angelo costume because Angelo's got his signature pearl up here and the background behind you, there's like a triangle
Oh
in
yeah,
exactly the same place.
I
So
like that.
I don't know. I don't know what that synchronicity is, but that's what I
I
saw.
only wear the Angelo costume on Sundays, so you caught me a good day.
All right. Um, Angelo, when you talk about your past before awakening and you use the word uncomfortable or discomfort, talking about what you always felt, that always really resonates with me. Of course, I don't know what you felt, versus what I felt, but that's um, there. It's not as much now, but there's just for most of my life been something that I could only call just really profound discomfort. It wasn't like pain or whatever, and um, it was a very claustrophobic feeling, like I suspected my skin and like the skin of the entire world was like a wetsuit, but I couldn't find the zipper
Hmm.
for it.
So like,
Something like that. Just some kind of shroud of inauthenticity or something that I couldn't quite get to like
Yeah.
reality. And it feels like that's sort of what drove me onto this. So the other day, I briefly had what felt like some kind of clarity where I was just like, oh, there's nothing but the senses. There's nothing but what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. And there's no story. There's nothing that goes along with that. And it probably lasted like 2 seconds, but it seemed very clear briefly. And then there was a reaction that was that very familiar one that was like, it can't be just that. Like, wait a minute, if it's just the seeing and the hearing and that, like, how can I get? And I thought about, the best video on YouTube, the one on your channel of where are all the cool things?
Mm.
And I mean, that guy, is apparently has had a shift, and I don't think I have had one, but there was a moment in that where he just said, there's got to be more. And you were saying, no, man, this is it. So I don't know what exactly that reaction is. That claustrophobic reaction that I didn't expect to come in when I had that clarity, that moment of clarity. So it's some sort of resistance, but I don't know what exactly I'm resisting. But it's a tension and a wanting to get out. I guess in that sense, in that moment, or right after that moment, it was a wanting to get out of reality, a wanting to get out of this. So yeah, I don't have an exact question other than I don't really know how to work with that. I don't even really understand what it is.
Yeah.
But it's always been there.
Your description of samsara, or let me say this, your description of dukkha, suffering, is really good. The translation more directly is unsatisfactoriness, which is a really good word, actually, because satisfactory could be interpreted as naturalness. Like, this is natural. There's no problem. You're at baseline. It's all okay. There's no problem to solve. As soon as that's not felt somehow, something's veiling that, feels unsatisfactory. It's like that taints everything. It can be acute and intense, like fear or anger or guilt or shame, but it's also just this low level, like buzzing anxiety. But yeah, it's almost like everything is painted with this, like, not right, it's not right. It's not, and it's miserable. And like you said, it's not physical pain. It's not like a psychological thing really, but you definitely feel it. That's unsatisfactoriness, but it's also beautiful because that's what drives this whole thing, this awakening thing. You may have had an awakening. I don't know. You said you had some kind of clarity and some insight, but more importantly, when you said the resistance, it's like, I want to get out. I want to get out. That's what you said. Out of the body, maybe you want to get out of this body. It's intensity of being in the body.
It felt like maybe getting out of the body was possible, was something that somebody could do, but there's no way out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, like, this is just this. That's
is this a this? Is this a this, or is it extrapolated from the body that there's this world?
Yeah.
Right. So all those are the fetters, or those are perceptual filters that I talk about, right? The sense of form, the sense of there being a body separate from an environment, the sense of there being physical world, and all that. All of that are kind of like the echoes of what I really think is a pre-verbal deep fear. Maybe we can remember it, but it comes so early, and that is like physically stuck in the body. Like, it's like there's so much constraint actually to the ability to move the body, and maybe even like having to learn to move the limbs, and feeling the pain that's in the body. There's nowhere to go. You're here, and then we extrapolate that in spiritual ways and all this other mental stuff. But what I find at the bottom of things really is The one of them is a fear of being in the body, and the other is a fear of not having the resources, the fear of abandonment, right? And those are very, very early fears. So I would really just look closely at that when you feel that resistance and go, okay, the words mean something in that space. It's not a story, it's a clue, right? When the words say, I want out, really look at that. What do you want out of? And don't think about it, feel it. What am I actually trying to get out of? Is this something I can get out of? Is there an I to get out of this? Or is it just a sensation, right? Really see how that gets built. And it's a subtle thing. The connections are subtle, but the implications for seeing through those unnecessary connections that just got hooked up at a very young age is tremendous. It's a very profound realization, but it can take a bit. It can take a bit because this stuff's subtle. So those are the kind of inquiries I would take with that resistance.
Yeah. Pretty solid. I would say there's so much here. The essence of satisfaction oftentimes takes a predictable quality in the mind. It can predict an outcome, and then when somehow we are able to experience that perceived outcome, we experience satisfaction. If we trace that all the way back to what's most primary, what you will start to find is sensations in your body and soothing mechanisms that are surrounding those sensations. That's what's going to be primary for you. And my sense is this will really pose a very needlepoint question energetically, basically like an energetic inquiry around what is satisfaction. Pay attention to every soothing mechanism, every swallow, every change in breath, every adjustment of the spine, the way you're moving the eyes, the way you blink, cracking knuckles, anything that you do, any minor adjustment that you make to somehow stave off a sensation. And that needle point right there will reveal something quite profound, because oftentimes it's like a sneeze that's coming, but you don't get the sneeze. That's the essence of helplessness.
Mm.
And just keep in mind, this isn't about the object of outcome. This is simply about the exposure to what is. The outcome is always a mystery because it probably doesn't exist.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. There was one other person with their hand up, I think, and I might have accidentally lowered their hand, or they just lowered their own hand. But if you did, go ahead and put it back up. There we go. Cool.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Angelo.
Hello.
Hello. So I'll just talk a bit about what's coming up, and then maybe you've got some reflections. Um, I'm feeling into like this feels like this big dark mass of, it's kind of like a no. It's mainly a kind of romantic no for men that aren't interested in me, the sexual no. I think there is a bit of a family no, a society no, and maybe even a kind of a no from work colleagues as well, kind of in it. But yeah, I think it's mainly that, and friends as well. So there's this, and if my sense, and I don't know again if this is a story, but my sense is that it's this undigested, unfaced, all the rejection I faced growing up, being ginger was not popular, and being kind of gay and a bit feminine was not popular. So I was kind of not enough. I was very inferior, and I was also kind of too much, which was a bit confusing. So I think there's been lots of, growing up wasn't super easy. I think, my sense is there's just this undigested sort of mass of like heavy, like I love a nap, and I wonder whether that's a bit of a soothing mechanism. And there's the two very clear habits that are very clear at the moment is sugar, which it feels like soothing. I'm soothing this inner child, and sex, searching for sex is also and kind of new sexual partners, kind of frequent new sexual partners. That's also another, kind of relatively long-standing habit that's kind of live for me at the moment. So yeah, it just feel that's sort of my sense of kind of what's going on, and it's how to And some of the things you said to other people tonight have been super helpful. But yeah, I just wondered, yeah, how to practically how to just dive into this. Yeah, dive into this like really what feels heavy, and it also maybe feels even older than me. It almost feels like intergenerational. Maybe I think maybe one of my grandparents was secretly gay. I'm not 100% certain, but I think possibly. So yeah, it feels like when I go into it, it feels like this. It has this eternal quality. Like you'll always be alone. You'll always be rejected. It's like being the outsider. It's like the pain of like two people getting together and I'm on the outside, and that the pain from that. It's like it's a constriction. There's a constriction, but it's also there's a lot of energy there, like trapped. It feels like trapped energy, and under whether it's like undigested pain, yeah, yeah. So that's what's going on.
Right on. Hey, Josh, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, really, Angela, I really am still resonating with what you said about the abandonment wound and feeling like a lack of resources there. That seems to be kind of at the base of being left out as well. Something really, really primal. When it comes to these no's, whatever's being presented, my recommendation is just see if you can follow the thread. So if it seems to be a no around family or a no in relationships or whatever it may be for you, see if you can find the first no. You can even use that as an inquiry. What is the
Mm,
first no? And that will help you stay really, really connected to something that, as Angelo illustrated really well throughout this entire double barrel, is energetic. There's an energetic sense, something interpreting an energy and wanting to reject it, wanting to say no. And if you can keep tracing to that, you won't be so concerned around the narratives and the pieces that they seem to be connected to, because really you'll find that that's all just kind of like pillow fluff. It's just kind of
mm,
filling in the space. There's something else that's much more acute here. And I really encourage you to follow that thread to what's most acute.
mm.
That will help you stay,
Thanks.
at least get to know the feeling, and then that will help you at least start to know the mechanisms that might be common around that feeling, around that experience, around that sense of preference. I like it, I don't like it. Get to
Mm,
know that really well, because ultimately, if whatever we feel is ultimately what we are, and if we abandon any feeling, we are creating the fracture that is shame right there. There is no abandoning.
mm.
Feel it all the way.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, Adam, what came to me when you were speaking was the conversation I had with Jennifer earlier. So if you haven't, I'm sure you saw it, but you might want to rewatch that
Mm,
and take the journey yourself, because you said at one point, I'm not going to be loved. I'm always going to be separate. I'm always going to be apart. Something like that. Like it's a
mm,
separateness. Like I'm always going to be apart. But you said in this core, in this sensation, right? I'm like thinking like go farther into it, see what it is. Because did you see how I led Jennifer into that? And
mm,
you have to really like go into it. You have to go in without agendas, of course, and just really, really drop in. But once you're there and you stabilize there and you feel it, it may still feel intense, but it starts to feel somewhat more settled and more, you're kind of feeling the naturalness of it. You're not trying to run away from it anymore. Sometimes you can ask that question, like, am I really isolated here? Or what is my relation to others? And you'll see that's actually where you relate. You relate in
mm,
the deepest pain. You relate in the deepest trauma. You relate in the helplessness. That is where you're going to connect with everybody. That's where everybody really connects, really, at
mm,
some level or another. Let me say it this way: regardless of what level you think you're connecting with, to the degree you can drop into that, that's how deep of a connection you can make with another human. And I don't care if it's romantic, friendship, family; it doesn't matter. The
mm,
degree to which you can drop into your own pain and totally feel it, and really, really feel it, and not interpret it, not jump out of it into your mind, turn it into a story, a narrative about you. Really feel it. That's the degree to which you can really connect, not just with everyone else, but yourself, like your own emotions to life itself. That's where real settledness comes.
mm,
You know, you're still going to have drives. You're still going to have sexual drive, probably. You're still going to have food drive. Like all these things are still going to be around, but they come into much better alignment when you're not using those as surrogates for what I'm talking about,
mm.
which is a deep settledness that is available to you.
Amazing.
That's what everybody wants. I promise. No matter what they think they want, that's what they want.
That was such a scalpel pointing. I love the way you put that, Angelo. That
Yeah.
the degree, that's a really good, solid. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you,
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Josh, thank you. Tell everybody where they can find you, work with you if they want to, and so forth.
Oh, okay. The website is www.soawake.org. You can just go check that out there and schedule sessions if you're interested in that. And yeah, plenty of availability right now. Oh, thanks, Robert. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat. If you want it, I will also put it underneath the description of this video, so you can find Josh's resources. And yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
This was what a journey. Thank you for this. It was really nice.
And thank you everyone for coming and showing up.
Group, like just all the interesting intricacies of energy and sharing was pretty beautiful here. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Take care.
Also, notice my mohawk.
Yep, I love it. And Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year
ahead of time. Okay, see ya.